Today I'm drawing a meditation chair. This was part of one of my daily drawings. My daily drawings lately, how I decide what to do is I actually go to my Pinterest page and look at their suggestions for me. And this one came along. I'm not really sure why. Their algorithms don't always make sense, but I mean, it does kind of make sense because I am a meditator. But I got a bunch of meditation chairs, seats. Well, I got one, and it made me do a search for meditation seats or meditation seating. Because if you Google meditation cushion, you're going to get basically one type of thing. There are only maybe 2 or 3 different kinds of meditation cushions, but I wanted every different type of thing that you can sit on when you meditate. This is one that I hadn't seen before. I like it. So I did a daily drawing of meditation seats, and this one seemed to be a good one to draw. Looks a little bit Japanese to me. I have been meditating for a number of years now, and I'm not even sure when I took my first meditation course. I am a student of Goenkaji, S.N. Goenka. Alright, from here, I'm going to low-hanging fruit. Let's do the inside of this. And I think I just might end up doing the edges on this one and then filling in where the hard shadows are, because these are not too many curves on this besides on the cushion. So there's going to be more flats on this particular drawing. So I think it was about 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I believe that was the case. I had just finished working at a job, and I had some time, and I had been trying to get to one of these 10-day courses for a long time, but I was not able to. And then finally, when I got laid off, that time with a little bit of severance. Yeah, my whole life has been like layoff after layoff. It's kind of the story of my life. People are like, why can't you stay at one job? I'm like, it's not me. Anyway, yeah, I could finally get to one of these courses, so I did. And I went to the one in Joshua Tree, which is still my favorite. Because the top is the one that's going to get the most light, I'm going to put the shadow here for this one to differentiate. So I finally got to Joshua Tree, and this was the 3rd attempt I had made to go to a meditation course. The other attempts I aborted because I was chicken. I was a scaredy cat. The thought of being quiet, no speaking, no eye contact, no contact with the outside world for 10 days with 9 hours of meditation per day. Oh my God, it's a lot to wrap your head around. But my friends had done it. Many of my friends had done it, and they loved it, and they encouraged me to do it. And finally, after I made excuses the first 2 times, and the 3rd time I said, Betsy, if you don't go, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. I shamed myself into going because I kept committing. It was not, I like being my word. So when I say I'm going to do something, I do my best to do it. And I just wasn't doing this. And I was the only one that was accountable for me, but I was still not doing it, still not being my word with myself, which is as important. So the third time I said, look, I'm going to make a fool out of myself if I don't go to this one. And they're going to start saying your name and not let you in next time. Not really, because they always have a waiting list. They're not paying that much attention to who's canceling, taking a tally. I don't think that's the case. There are plenty of people to take my spot. But, yeah, I finally, after the third time, decided I went. And then I drove 9 hours, because I live in Northern California, in Oakland. I drove 9 hours to Joshua Tree, got to this place, and was met by all these wonderful, wonderful people. It's all volunteer. I think maybe the advisors are paid, but it's just a stipend. It's mostly volunteer for them too. Just really wonderful people, and it's all Dhamma, so you don't pay for it. It's free. And they won't even let you pay for it, actually, if you haven't done it yet. But they ask for you to donate whatever you can, whether it's time or services or money, as you can, when you can, as much as you can, as much as you're comfortable. And yeah, after you finish, and I got so much out of it that I immediately wanted to donate everything I had, but that wouldn't be very practical. Eventually I did give back by doing a service period, because I never seemed to have enough cash to give to them. I'm always catching up because I get laid off so often. Anyway, I finally had time, like, you know what, I may not have the cash, but I have the time. This is after another layoff. So I did a service period, and that's how I paid them back. That's how I showed my gratitude. And when people pay, you know, it's kind of like paying it forward. So when I went, somebody had donated enough to cover my expenses. And that's the idea. Is that, you know, when you go, you do it, you get the value out of it, and then you say, you know what, I would love for somebody else to be able to do this too. I'm going to put a little shadow under here and here, because that's what's happening with the light. So yeah, I went there, I did my 10-day, and then later, a few years later, I did a service period, which is also 10 days, where you go there and instead of sitting, you serve. You clean every day, you make the food every day. You're put together with another bunch of volunteers who are serving, donating their time as well, and you get to meet other meditators, which is wonderful. And you're not supposed to speak and excessively when you're doing the service period, but you can speak when you're in the kitchen because you have to communicate. And when I did it, it happened to be right at Christmas time, which is really popular. A lot of people get time off at Christmas, so the sits are very popular. That's a popular time, is what I mean. And so there were a lot of servers, a lot of volunteers to serve. And so I met a lot of friends, and we spoke more than, it's noble silence, except for the servers. And yeah, we could have done better. We got scolded once or twice. Not really scolded, but reminded, gently reminded that we should not be mingling too much, because they separate men and women, because it's a distraction, and I agree with that. Oh, if I was sitting between two handsome men, I would totally be distracted. I'd be vibing them. Yeah, I'm like that. So I get it. I totally get it. And the reason why there's noble silence is because if you were to do this in ancient India, you would have been doing it with your own personal guru, your own personal teacher. And it would have been just you and the teacher. And what they're trying to do is emulate that personal training. So they make you do noble silence so that you're not, developing some kind of friendship with the person you are roomed with. Because when you're a first timer, you're put together with a roommate. One roommate. Each room has 2 beds. And you get up at 4:30 in the morning. You meditate once. You get ready for the day. You go have food in the mess hall. It's not a mess hall. But you have food, and then you basically spend the rest of the day, I won't give you the details of the schedule, but you spend the rest of the day meditating and taking breaks from it, and you do a total of 9 days of meditation. Now for me, I had a bad back. My back is better now, but I had a bad back, and so I was able to sit in a chair in the back of the room, and they don't have any problem with that. There are many older meditators, older people who do their meditation course once or twice a year, so they're accustomed to people who have back issues, so it's not a problem to ask them. And this is getting a little muddy in here, huh? If you can sit in a chair instead of on a cushion on the floor. And yeah, then you sit there for, So this is what happens when, I don't care if you're left or right-handed, you're gonna get your hand over it at some point, and that's what the tracing paper is for. It's an old trick. And I got a lot out of it. I'm really glad I did it. And now I have a practice that is on and off. And it helps me tolerate things like loud motorcycles going under my window. And to just be with it. And not be upset. It is what it is. And that everything is constantly changing. And now it's gone. Meditation helped me learn that experientially. I know that experientially by paying attention to the sensations in my body, watching them come and watching them go, not having any judgment, not having any attachment, not having any aversion to what's happening in my body, like sore knees, sore back, an itch. Because if you get an itch, you're not supposed to move. You're not supposed to itch it. The idea is that you observe it coming. You try like heck to not let it make you react. You just see it, acknowledge it, in this course, not day to day, I mean, when you're home, you can probably itch your nose, but in this course, that's what the goal is to get you to become disciplined, right? Let's see. I'm gonna let this edge of the chair be darker. So maybe I'll start there so I don't forget. And learning how to let things pass, come and go, by observing it within my own body, I was able to transfer that, after some practice, I was able to transfer that to real life, where something unpleasant would happen, something I don't want, and I was able to observe. It's like a muscle. I was able to simply observe and not make any judgment, not try to change it, let it be. Just let it be. And I learned through my practice of meditation that everything passes eventually. Sometimes it takes a long time. Some itches take longer to pass. Some stay there for a good 5 minutes, which feels like an eternity. But they eventually go away. And in life, sometimes it takes years for something to go away. But you just observe it, you just deal with it, you just live with it, and you accept it into your life. No, this is my life now. And it changes. The only thing you can count on in life is change, and taxes, and death is change. The only thing you can count on is change. And so you know it's going to change. So if you just sit tight, even you know, the bus is going to come eventually. It may be really late. And you may wonder where it is. But just observe. And when you do that, there's another thing that happens, is that you aren't distracted with changing things. And you start being present. You start being more present with your environment and with you and with your own, how often you think. And my God, I am in love with my thoughts. Wow. I absolutely love thinking. I have so much fun in this brain here. It's really, really fun in there. But I'm not always present. You know, that doesn't, you know, daydreamers, when we were daydreaming in class, we're not present. Sometimes you can't avoid it because it's so boring. But, all right, so since this is the hard edge on this side, I'm going to use that as my other edge for this one, and I'm going to go ahead and let that fade to here from this side. You know what I mean? You got to roll with it, baby. It's kind of how it's what you end up learning. You just roll with it. You just, you know, don't worry. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Now I do need to pay attention to what I'm going to do with the cushion. So I'm not going to go too hard on this one. I'm going to go kind of light. In fact, it's sandwiched between two dark places, so I'm not even sure if I should be filling this in, but it's not white, so yeah. And I am all fire. I have Aries in 7 houses, believe it or not. I mean, it is like, sometimes I get tired of me. It's pretty intense in here sometimes. So it has helped me to chill out and not be reactive. And I'll tell you, when you're reactive like me, and you apologize kind of on a regular basis because you just like snap too fast, sometimes it's appropriate, but sometimes it's not. I didn't have to do that, be that. And through practicing meditation, I've learned not to be hot-headed and reactive, and it's been really, really wonderful to not do that to other people, especially when they're unsuspecting. I would never get too bad, you know, I would just be passionate. I'm also a quarter Italian and a bit Irish. Not that passion is limited to any particular group, but you know what Italians are good at. I'm not going to say it here. Class, what are Italians good at? The 3 F's. I'll give you a hint. So, yes, I found it to be tremendously helpful in my life, and I meditate for about 30 minutes every morning, 30 days every morning, or at least weekday mornings. And you know, sometimes the results of it aren't immediate or tangible or in your face or apparent, but I think it does, over the long term, have an effect on how you operate in the world, how you move in the world. And I like me better when I'm moving a little bit slower, being a little bit more chill. All right, now we're going to sneak attack this cushion, and because it's on the other side and going into this seat area, I'm going to make that darker, and I'm going to make it kind of flat. I'm going to have to turn it around and make sure I'm doing it right in a second. Edges, because there's nothing to contrast it with. So yeah, I highly recommend learning how to meditate and getting a practice. Now that said, I will tell you that I've never experienced that bliss that many proponents of meditation have described. And I think that there is an element of, let's call it fashion. It's fashionable to meditate. And it's, in my opinion, there are many different types of meditation, and some of those types of meditation aren't really meditation. They're more like, you know, relaxing, guided, you know, think about this and think about that. And that's not meditation. It's really wonderful for what it is. I'm not saying don't do it, but meditation is actually really hard. It's really hard to not think about anything for 2 seconds. If you can keep your mind clear for 2 seconds, you are winning. already. You're winning. But like I said, there are many different types of meditation. You can do a walking meditation. If I wasn't talking, this could be considered a meditation, just focusing on what I'm doing here. The type of meditation that I was training for was awareness, mindful meditation, where you're focusing on your breath and then you're focusing on your body. And Vipassana meditation is actually using your body, doing body scans more or less. And you pay attention to that. You don't pay attention to other stuff. Okay, so since this is where the light's going to hit the highest, I'm going to give this a little bit of shadow because that's going behind. A little bit of shadow. And then I'm going to add just some darks there. And that's it. Really light. If I can get it really light. Yeah. My dear friend, Musing, who has become a monk, a friend of mine who went down the path of becoming a monk. He holds a 30-minute meditation that I like to join in the mornings. And we do it on Zoom. It's really funny because nobody's saying anything, but we're all like on Zoom with our eyes closed. Whatever works, right? You still start knowing who's there and knowing that you're with other people doing the same thing, which is really nice. I use Insight Timer for an app. It's free unless you want extras like guided meditations. It's just a timer. You can use any timer. You can use an egg timer. You can use a kitchen timer. You can use your computer timer. It doesn't matter what kind of timer you use. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be working. One time, oh, this is so funny. One time I put my timer on, and after a while I was like, shouldn't it be 30 minutes by now? I opened my eyes, I looked down, something had written, like, I think it was on my computer, and something timed out or shut down, and I was like 45 minutes in, like, oh boy, that was not my intention, but hey, I meditated for 40 minutes. Cool, cool. Bonus. Yeah. Does that bump bother anybody? It bothers me. That's bothering me. A little less of a bump. Let's clean up this edge right here. And here you go, my meditation chair. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this, please share it with your friends, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you at the next drawing. Bye.